the second part of artificial intelligence and overview. So we start with how the artificial intelligence was able to take a very strong head start. And now let us continue with what makes this artificial intelligence so special in the process of problem solving or as a strategy for providing computational solutions. Now, we must be knowing there are a lot of research going on. Diagnosing a particular disease, may be a cancer or a kind of tumor or any kind of ailment. So normally the doctors will use medical reports or medical images in the process of diagnosis. Suppose if a programmer, for instance, a computer science researcher who is working on medical image processing is given with a collection of images, say digital mammogram images, which are meant for the identification of breast cancer. So then, even I'm working on the diagnosis of breast cancer. So we normally use digital mammogram images, and we try to segment the suspicious regions, and then we try to analyze whether this can be taken as a kind of evidence to conclude whether a patient has cancer or not. So we do write programs by using MATLAB, and we used to write programs for identification of breast cancer or brain tumor or any other kind of ailment from the medical images. So as we compare the accuracy of results that we get between the traditional computing algorithms and the AI-driven algorithms, and we have to admit the fact that the accuracy of diagnosis by AI models are much, much superior and higher than those that of traditional computing algorithms. So this artificial intelligence is able to provide solutions for is this a cancerous growth or not. So does a patient has any cancerous growth or not? If the tumor is malignant or is it benign? So we can go for identification of cancer as well as classification of cancer. That is, there are various stages of cancer depending upon the type of cancer. So a very powerful and very efficient AI model will be able to accurately pinpoint whether a patient is having cancer or not. In addition to that, it will be able to give the classification, what will be the stage in which the patient is. So then when we go for the computation, like what is the market value of the house? And for a particular house, suppose if you want to buy a house, what would be its market value? Probably after 5 years, after 10 years. A model will be able to give better solutions than traditional computing methods. Then, this is quite interesting to know which of these people are good friends with each other. So for these kind of sentiment-related problems, and definitely our traditional computers will utterly fail. So we have provision in artificial intelligence even to evaluate the degree of friendship, right? Are they true friends or are they pseudo friends? So these kind of things can be identified by using artificial intelligence. So something like, will this rocket engine explode on the takeoff? So that kind of prediction is possible using artificial intelligence. So will this person like this movie or not? So we come across good number of recommender systems. Suppose when I want to watch a movie or when I want to buy a book or when I want to purchase something, I can make use of the recommender system. Recommender system will be able to give good suggestions based upon my profile, based upon my interests, based upon my preferences, based on my likes and dislikes. So from where does the model will be able to take all these things like my likes, my dislikes, my preferences, all this stuff. So as we are very active on the internet, so as we have good amount of accounts like Google account, and then you have got up accounts with online shopping, then online transactions. So in such cases, all these activities that we do under the one roof of internet working are being collected, and our activities, the nature of activity, the time at which we are involved in these kind of online activities, and what are the activities that we do so frequently. All these things are very meticulously being recorded, and that is available as data. So there will be a kind of AI model which will take all these things based upon the kind of activities that we perform. And probably the recommender system will be able to give us the best recommendation. So it is a kind of personalized model, and the recommendation a system can give for you will be radically different from that of what I will get for the same kind of problem. So then artificial intelligence works very well in terms of face recognition, face identification, and crowd analysis. And suppose if there is some problem, for instance, if there's a surveillance camera, and if the video of a particular public place is being recorded, and if there is a kind of mishap, if the movement is not normal, if it is erratic, then probably on such occasions, then the system will be able to come out instantly like something is wrong in that particular place. So it is able to like recognize the objects around, and based upon kind of a new kind of activity, or if there is something abnormal, it will be able to come out with a suggestion about what is it about and how it can be managed. Then what did you say? We speak about natural language processing. This natural language processing is not a kind of new research domain, or it is not a new discipline. This has been in the line for many years, but after the intervention of artificial intelligence, so this natural language processing has seen good amount of promising domains, which will help the researchers to think differently, as well as they will be able to solve problems that they never thought of without the support of artificial intelligence. So these are the glimpses of the problem-solving domains, which makes artificial intelligence so very special. So then, as we talk about the arena of artificial intelligence, so probably when we listen to this terminology, artificial intelligence, most of us will conclude that this artificial intelligence is a proprietary of computer science. So artificial intelligence has got its one and only association with computer science. So, but it is not so. Artificial intelligence has strengthened itself by borrowing principles, theories from a wide array of disciplines. So, as we want to give new names for artificial intelligence, or a few other terminologies for artificial intelligence, it can be called as computational intelligence, synthetic intelligence. Synthetic is it's not natural, right? Unnatural, or computational rationality. So we can just see these are the domains from where artificial intelligence has got very it has got grouped. So AI research is an amalgamation of, as such, the discipline of artificial intelligence has good amount of overlapping on computer science, psychology, philosophy, then neuroscience, cognitive science, linguistics, operations research, economics, then control theory, as we talk about robotics, and many other artificial intelligence-driven model building, then probability and statistics, optimization, and logic. So again, there may be a question in your mind, to master artificial intelligence, do you have to master in all these domains? No, it is not necessary, and we have to understand the process of training, the process of learning, and it mimics the pattern of an individual, and we individuals, the knowledge accumulation, the knowledge acquisition, the knowledge building, highly relies on psychology, philosophy, and many such things. So, to understand the process of learning, to understand the process of acquiring experience, the scientists had to look into these kinds of domains, and then they try to amalgamate the principles the theories that they can pull from all these things. That kind of knowledge has attributed to the development of successful artificial intelligence models. Next. So now it is AI and problem solving. The next slide speaks about artificial intelligence and problem solving. We know what are the kind of problems that we can solve using artificial intelligence. So the most interesting aspect of artificial intelligence, as I told you, is there is no need for any human intervention. So once the model is developed, once the design and development and deployment of an AI-based model is complete, then that marks the end of our human intervention. So then the problem solving becomes completely automatic. Then it doesn't require human intervention at any point of time. So then artificial intelligence algorithms can provide optimal as well as accurate solutions. So that is the best part of artificial intelligence. So the research studies have proven, and the research studies have published, that the artificial intelligence models are able to give us the optimal solutions with the highest level of accuracy. So AI is seamlessly contributing to the transformation of society as well as the industrial revolution. So all of you would agree with me that we are living in an era where many things have got changed dramatically and radically. So probably some 5-6 years back, we never thought online transaction will be possible, and we never even dreamt that we will be doing this online fund transfer. And many things are being made so simple, and we are also we are mentally trained to use all these things, and now we are quite comfortable with all these kind of online activities. So all these kind of transformations that the society has seen has drastically brought in a lot of changes, functional changes, and then societal changes, cultural changes. And whether we like it or not, the change is taking place. As we know, change is permanent. So it is all left to us how best would we be able to adapt to the changes, including accepting artificial intelligence. So as in software says, a person is literate only if he has the ability to learn, unlearn, as well as relearn, or to put it, unlearn, learn, and then relearn. So now, especially the computer science faculty, the computer science students, or the computer science practitioners, software engineers, they have this very big problem when the programming tools are changing very fast. And suppose if I master Java, and probably tomorrow I have to master some other programming tool because the Java may not be suitable for the problem that I want to solve by using computers. So this computer science is a domain which which has to manage itself with a lot of changing phases. So on such occasion, every one of us must have the kind of mental preparedness, mindset to change our attitude and to build our ability on the changing technologies. So the society has got changed, and the industrial transformations are taking place. And we never thought there could be a kind of self-driving car. There could be an automated car. These things are possible only with the support of artificial intelligence. And interestingly, nobody would have thought if I enter into my Gmail account, I get to see a good amount of advertisements. These advertisements are completely being personalized. So whatever I get will definitely not match with those that you get on your screen. So these things we never even dreamt of. So because of artificial intelligence, the artificial intelligence makes any kind of process to be very individual specific, even specific, time specific. That makes artificial intelligence very special as we talk about its potential in problem solving. Then I have given a very small example. This is, as you all know, this is the image of built. So if you have a model which can do the classification between whether the given object is a teacup or a face or probably a mobile phone or a phone, then the software that we develop, the artificial intelligence model we have developed for this kind of classification, will first of all try to study or try to extract the features of the given image. And we know if we want to conclude that the object is the given image is a human face, we look for a face, then eyebrows, eyes, nose, mouth, then the chin, this kind of structure. So this is these kind of features as we perceive and understand through our visual perception. We make the machine also to understand these features and try to correlate between them, and then it will come to a conclusion that if these features are present, then it should be a face. If I take a mobile phone, it has its own morphological features. If I take a teacup, it has got its specific features. So these features will be extracted from the given image. Then later on, as I discuss about convolutional neural network, definitely I'll be able to explain to you how this kind of recognition takes place by using the algorithm. So at this point of time, let us just understand, and an AI model which is meant for identification of an object will be able to do. In this case, we have taken 3 categories which can be in plenty. So the next topic is on AI, the context. So we have been discussing artificial intelligence find its way in solving many problems in the best possible way compared to traditional computing methods. So now let me list down a few illustrations. Though we have already discussed these things in a different perspective, and this will make us understand how artificial intelligence can be used for problem solving. So there are problems which can be handled by deterministic algorithms, like recognition of a 3-dimensional object from a given scene. And suppose if we have a 3D video, so probably you may be able to look for a particular object, and you can develop a software to decide or to identify a particular object in the entire stream of video. That is possible, or from a kind of image. Then we can write a program for handwriting recognition. Suppose if you train the model to come out with a conclusion, whose handwriting it is, that's possible. Then speech recognition, it can recognize the speech, as well as it may be able to translate the speech from one language to another language or to many languages. So then problem which don't have a fixed solution, this we discussed earlier. So I want to reiterate. So this artificial intelligence is so handy when the problems do not have a fixed solution, number one, and the goalpost of the problem solution keeps changing. And like I just want to quote again, we discussed about spam emails, the financial fraudulence way. So the definition of a spam email is highly complex, and definition of a financial fraudulence is also highly complicated. So the goalpost of the problem itself is changing, as well as the solution point is also changing. So when the problem is volatile, and when the solution is also it depends on the growing nature of the problem or ever increasing nature of the problem, in such cases it is essential for us to go in for artificial intelligence, because as we the human beings do, we try to build upon our intelligence. We try to we learn from our experience, and then we try to extrapolate, or we try to adapt and apply our intelligence to the problem that we have in our hand. So like that, the system also adapts and learns from the experience. As I said, like spam emails, handling spam emails, then identification of financial fraudulence, then any kind of security issues, IT security framework, and many more like that. So then where the solutions are individual specific, time dependent, or event specific. As we discussed about the recommender system, what kind of book do you have to buy, and which movie do I want to see? Then should I buy this product or not? So the recommender system. Then the targeted advertisement. So by mistake, if I log into say any of the online shopping portal, maybe say Amazon, then that will be end of my life. And the moment when I log into my Gmail or any other account, so instantly I'll get the pop-up advertisements that will be just pushing me to the corner, either to get tired of all these things, or I may get motivated to just go and check what are the discounts available and what are the new arrivals. So targeted advertisements. So then for prediction based on past and existing patterns. So now when you have a collection of data for a period of time, then probably any program, or if the data is very small, we will be able to understand what is the trend that has been exhibited by the data that we have in our hand. So when the data happens to be handful, probably the trend analysis is very simple to do it by hand computation. But when the volume of data increases, then even probably ordinary kind of computing may not help us to get the best solution. So this artificial intelligence is very useful for making predictions based on the past as well as existing patterns. So to quote an example under this line is a prediction of the share prices. Which share may go up, which share may go down. So as we look into the Sensex and as we look into the share market, and there will be a good amount of artificial intelligence driven software which will be keep predicting so which share will go to the maximum kind of value and which is going to face a dip. All these things can be. So next, it's quite interesting to talk about the breakthroughs in artificial intelligence. So in this presentation, I have taken the most important 3 breakthroughs that made the whole world to go speechless about its potential. So the first breakthrough that happened way back in the year 1996, when IBM introduced one of the most powerful computer called Deep Blue. So this was a supercomputer which was introduced on May 11th, 1997. It was invented in the year 1996. On May 11th, 1997, this IBM computer called IBM Deep Blue was able to take a match with then world chess champion Gary Kasparov. So before I proceed further, this IBM Deep Blue is ever first AI-driven computer which was designed to play chess as we do. So this IBM Deep Blue, which is built on reasoning and logic, it was made to take a game with the world chess champion Gary Kasparov in the year 1997. So there were 6 game matches. It is interesting to note 2 matches were won by IBM and one by the world chess champion, and 3 matches were declared as draws. So this is the ever first incident that made the whole world, the whole world was taken by surprise to know that though this, the IBM Deep Blue happened to be a man-made machine, it was able to think like a human being. It was able to make decisions like human being. And beyond all this point, it was able to win over a human being. So the match lasted for several days and received a massive media coverage around the world. So the whole world was able to understand that artificial intelligence is a possible thing. So behind this context, so what was the takeaway out of this IBM Deep Blue? So after this contest, after this match, there were many kinds of thought process going on. Then it opened up a lot of avenues to think further how best this artificial intelligence can be expanded for problem solving. So beyond the context, the computer science was pushing forward the ability of computers to handle complex computation, and the computer scientists decided to think how radically can we think of applying this artificial intelligence for the different kinds of problem solving other than just using it to give solutions. So they try to correlate the potential of artificial intelligence for the discovery of new medical drugs, and then they started thinking about how well the new medical drugs can be personalized instead of giving a kind of general medicine to the patient. Will we be able to think about personalizing the medicine based upon a patient's requirement? Then financial modeling to identify the trends in the industry, trends in the business, and then for risk identification, that is risk analysis that involves risk identification. Then we have to mitigate the risk, we have to monitor, and then we have to keep looking into the risk analysis in terms of the cycle. So then this artificial intelligence opened up new doors for searching for a particular pattern from a very large database, which was not possible earlier, then perform massive calculations. Like it was able to do very complex computations in the best possible way. So these were the new thoughts that cropped up after the success of IBM Deep Blue. So here you can see a photograph where Gary Kasparov was taking a match with Deep Blue. Quite interesting to see. Then the second breakthrough. So every one of us, we have acquaintance with Sophia, who is a humanoid. This humanoid was introduced to the world in the year 2015. It was designed and developed in the year 2015. However, the Sophia was introduced to the United Nations on October 11, 2017. So then all of us must be knowing Sophia was created by a Hong Kong-based company called Hanson Robotics, and this Sophia was created with an intention to mimic almost all the activities of a human being in terms of the cognitive functionality. So it was proclaimed to the whole world that Sophia is capable of making more than 50 facial expressions, 50 gestures, and can equally express the feeling like happiness, sad, right? All those expressions can be shown on the face. And interestingly, it was exhibited that even Sophia will be able to, Sophia will be able to express the human feeling or the human quality, the most important human quality, that is sense of humor. So as we watch the videos of humanoid Sophia, we will be able to understand how intelligently this model has been fabricated. So all of us must be knowing this is the first humanoid that has received citizenship for the first time. So on October 25th of the same year, 2017, she was granted, and this is, I'm not able to call it as each because it almost looks like a human being. So she was granted Saudi Arabian citizenship, making her first humanoid robot ever to have the national. So it's a breakthrough. So then she was very expressive. She has very expressive eyes, and she's able to smile pleasant way possible. And when there's a surprise, when she's asked some questions, she expresses the sense of surprise. So as we watch, we will be able to understand how good this humanoid is. So this model, Sophia, she was brought to India in February 13th, in the month of February of this year, and she was able to give a talk in an international conference which was organized by IIT BHU. So the whole world, like at least our nation, was able to witness how good Sophia is in giving the lecture as well as in handling the questions. So the world's first robot citizen talks about climatic change on India visit. So this title was hitting the headlines of all leading newspapers when Sophia was addressing the event, Conversation and Humans. So she was able to talk about climatic changes and out of the kind of intelligence that has proceeded into Sophia. She was able to handle almost all the kind of topics, though because of the limitations of the software, she may give some observed answers, and we do give observed answers on few occasions. So that is also a kind of human nature as exhibited by Sophia. So the next one, the third one is the IBM project debater, which was brought to the world in the year 2018. So this IBM project debater, again, it made the headlines when it pitted its machine against the world champion human. Like this IBM project debater can participate in a debate, and it has the capability to speak for a given topic as well as to speak against the topic. So that was exhibited, and this is also a proven technology. So these three interesting examples made the world to understand that artificial intelligence and its potential can be furthered so that it can be used for solving the upcoming complex problems, which cannot be handled by traditional. So now it is time to talk about beyond artificial intelligence. So I think you must be having a kind of understanding about what is meant by artificial intelligence, what are its potentials, and how it has shown to the world about its potentials, and why artificial intelligence on specific occasions superior than traditional computing. So what are the problems that we can solve with artificial intelligence? So all these things we have discussed. We are going to go for the kind of outgrowth of artificial intelligence. So as you try to develop an AI model, then depending upon its complexity, depending upon the amount of data that it is going to handle, depending upon the solutions that it is going to provide, it can be classified into two different kinds. One is called as weak AI, other one is strong AI. So weak AI is the one which works on very small amount of data where the problem solving complexity is very simple to say. And when the complexity increases, when it has of data and when the computation happens to be very complicated, and kind of problems are being considered as strong AI. So the strong AI, later I'll give you the examples for strong AI. But however, the dream of the researchers is neither weak AI nor strong AI, and they are dreaming to come out with a general artificial intelligence that we call as GAI. And of course, Sophia is the typical example for general artificial intelligence because she is able to talk like the digital assistant. So this, though we talk about the capabilities of Sophia, we cannot say that a human intelligence. Sophia's intelligence is as equal as that of a human intelligence. It is not so. So it has got its own limitations. So the effort of achieving the general artificial intelligence it still remains as a dream. So though we were able to go up to probably say 60%, 70%, or 80%, but still they were not able to come out with a model which can be called as 100% general artificial intelligence. So as we talk about this humanoid Sophia or IBM project debater, or when we talk about automated cars, so these kind of AI-driven models come under the category of strong AI. So where they are able to make decisions and they are able to come out with new conclusions, they are called as like strong AI. And as we know, the small size problems are being categorized as narrow AI or weak AI. So So then the next one is conversational AI. So when we apply this artificial intelligence for natural language processing, it can be called as conversational AI. So as we commonly seen in online chatbots, I think we must have seen chatbots, and where there will be an agent that sits and asks questions and also give answers. I think all of us must have had an opportunity to witness Gargoyle, which is there in the Denver airport. It is able to like just look at the object and talk as a human being can do, a chatbot. So which uses the artificial intelligence to mimic the human conversation via online chatbot. So if those who have not seen that Gargoyle, I would request you to just search for Gargoyle in the YouTube. Right? There is an interesting video about this Gargoyle in the Denver airport. So conversational AI that has got good amount of impact. Nowadays, many of the banks are using this kind of chatbot for online inquiries, and the innovation and invention has gone even a step ahead. And in many banks, they use humanoid as a teller, where you can just go and ask questions. There will be a humanoid which will be sitting there, and they call such humanoids as neons. So those neons will be like a human being. You can just go and ask questions, it will be able to give answers. And for yoga instruction, and then for giving a lot of training, they use these kind of humanoids, that is, we call them as neons. So this conversational AI has led to the development of chatbots, and for chatbots, natural language processing is the most important principle around which the entire process revolves around. Then machine learning, we did discuss about what is meant by machine learning. So machine learning is a process. It is a principle that makes a computer to learn and get experience like a human being, and the experience can be used for problem solving. So machine learning is an artificial intelligence-based technique that learns and evolves based on the experience. So as we develop a machine learning model, we have to understand the experience of the model will be evolving over a period of time. So it is not the learning that is quite discrete, or whether it is going to be discrete, or whether it is going to be confined. And if there is a question whether the intelligence is going to grow over the period of time or not, the answer is yes. So the process of machine learning will ensure that the intelligence of a machine will keep growing, and the intelligence of a machine will get augmented over the period of time. So because as we gain experience, as we acquire knowledge over a period of time, through formal learning, informal learning, through training, through reading, by doing things, so the same thing happens with the machine learning models also. They are able to learn a lot of things out of experience. Later I will explain to you how this learning takes place and how the learning is getting converted into experience, and further how the experience can be used for problem solving. So where do we apply this machine learning? Applications of plenty. So right from operating the self-driving cars, then investment, then fund management, then performing legal discovery. Like suppose if you have a collection of documents, then an artificial intelligence software will be able to identify the illegal documents or fake documents, and it will be able to classify the given set of documents into legal documents and illegal documents. So that's possible. Then, as I made a mention, and we can use it for medical diagnosis. Then, in addition to that, we can use artificial intelligence for creative work. Like you all must be knowing, there is a software which can mimic the voice of Barack Obama, the former US president. Then, if you develop a model which can gain experience through training, and suppose if I want to develop a model which should converse like me, or which talk like me. I can just collect all my audio clippings, and if I give that audio clipping to the model, and it will try to understand the way in which the accent that I use when I talk. And suppose if I give a text, probably it will be able to read out as I do, right? So this is quite possible. This virtual kind of presentation may be possible with the support of artificial intelligence without my stress. So then machines can play games, as we saw with IBM P2. Then I also made a mention this neural network is playing a very important role, and I can say a vital role in artificial intelligence. So when the models are being developed, so wherever possible, we make use of this artificial intelligence. So we get to see like Siri, we are familiar with. Then there are many like voice assistants in our mobile phones. So all these things are possible only with the support of artificial intelligence. So I told you the limitations of machine learning are duly addressed by the outgrowth of artificial intelligence that we call as deep learning models. So the deep learning models are superior than machine learning models because, and they are able to solve the problem in the better way possible than machine learning models on occasions where the machine learning models are proved to be insufficient to handle such problems. So like as we talk about deep learning, that covers like personalization of a particular thing like recommender system or audience clustering, then predicting the market related activities like fund management and investment plans, such kind of things. Then of course sentiment analysis. Then when you want to like collect a collection of tweets, and if you want to come out with what will be the summary of the tweets on a particular topic, it can be done by an artificial intelligence driven model that can be done by a human being or by traditional computing. So now we are at the applications of artificial intelligence. I would say these are only indicative instances. Now, if you take any kind of field, artificial intelligence can be applied for suitable data processing and problem solving. So to quote a few, we use it in automobiles, we use it in business. I already mentioned about business intelligence. And of course, we use it in education. And suppose if you want to develop an e-learning material, right? You have an array of e-learning materials. So you want to categorize them as a set of materials for fast learners, and a set for medium learners, and a set for slow learners. So depending upon the profile of a student, the artificial intelligence driven model will be able to give the options available for you. So education can be made personalized as we use the part of artificial intelligence. Then finance, financial services. Then for games it can be used. Then for governmental services, for data processing, data handling, for prediction, for decision making, for strategic planning, for policy making, we can use artificial intelligence. And the next one is healthcare services. And healthcare is one of the booming domains in the light of artificial intelligence. So like it is growing beyond the bounds. Then manufacturing industries, automated industries, then monitoring when production is going on, can it be monitored through artificial intelligence driven software? It is possible. So these are only illustrations. As we look into it, it can be used in agriculture, and you can go for precision farming with artificial intelligence driven agents. So these are only indicative, and there are a good number of applications. So now we are at the takeaway points of the session. So I think now you will be able to understand AI is a new domain of computing with new horizons and promises, and which cannot be assured by traditional computing. Then it is seamlessly broadening its boundaries of computing beyond imagination. We never thought the artificial intelligence will be able to fit itself in problem solving in the ways that we discussed now. So the application domains are plenty, and it all depends on our perception. It all depends on our capability of understanding the problem and selecting the AI model for problem solving. So I think think all of you must have understood clearly there are two broad subdomains of artificial intelligence. One is machine learning, the other one is. So I think we start to this artificial intelligence as overview. The next session we will be discussing more about this machine learning algorithm in detail, and that will give a kind of insight to what is the scope of this kind of models, and for what kind of problems do we have to apply them appropriately. So this marks the end of the session, and thank every one of you for joining with me during the session. Goodbye to you. I'll meet you in the next session on machine learning algorithms part 1. Thank you everyone.